Sheriff Todd Baxter, as the sheriff of 1984, what is the name of your taxpayer-subsidized public employee who physically attacked me at the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans Food Markets at 2157 Penfield Road? District Attorney Sandra Doorley, as the District Attorney of 1984, what's the name of your two assistant district attorneys who don't talk in Penfield Town Court, first before 70-year-old John P. Lomenzo Jr. and next before Paula Metzler, as I'm delivered to jail as an innocent man? I've been attacked and assaulted by your public employees, Todd Baxter, multiple times because of what I'm doing to you on YouTube. You are the bankrupt, nauseating head of a criminal organization. You, Sandra Doorley, are the bankrupt, nauseating head of a criminal organization. This is a crime your employee, Sheriff Todd Baxter, committed upon me. This is felony assault. You followed me down Penfield Road, so I went to Canandaigua National Bank because your multiple vehicles were passing me. I go to the bank, I walk back home, across Sanders Farm Drive, to Willow Pond Way to Wegmans, and I see them. I get to the pharmacy entrance. 5 of your vehicles and 11 of your employees are there. They converged upon me at once because you're following me. One of them got out, lowered his shoulder, ran at me, drove his shoulder into the small of my back. I landed on the concrete pavement, and my head bounced off the concrete pavement. And then he briefly sat on me. This is a crime. That's a felony assault. What would you think if what happened to me there at the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans Food Markets happened to Zachary Baxter, Kevin Baxter? What would you think if Zachary Baxter just walking over to Cam's Pizza, if Kevin Baxter's walking over to Cam's Pizza, and then 5 vehicles and 11 Monroe County Sheriff Office employees converged? And this is a concocted arrest because I've never committed a crime, but I'm already surrounded. Why did he physically attack me? I'll guess because I read the salaries on YouTube. I don't know his name. What's his name? You have 11 witnesses that I counted, and there were more. What's the name of your public employee? You party-switching, bald-headed criminal that physically attacked me at the pharmacy entrance of Wegmans Food Markets. Because there are 11 witnesses that all work for you. What's his name? You refuse to tell me his name. What would you think if that happened to Kevin Baxter, Zachary Baxter? What would Mrs. Todd Baxter think if a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee physically attacked Kevin Baxter, Zachary Baxter? And then I'm taken to Penfield Town Court, deposited in front of this bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metzler, adjudicated guilty. I'm in Livingston County Jail without a prosecutor. This time the prosecutor's not there in Penfield Town Court. Why? Because you thought about this, your employees. I don't know if you personally are involved. Were you told about what happened to me at the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans Food Markets? If you were told about this and did nothing, which I expect you to do, because you're corrupt to your bone marrow, then that is yet again certification of why you're a repulsive human being. If you were told about assault on me and did nothing, that's not surprising. If you were not told about this, then that again is an indictment of your criminal organization. 11 that I counted. 11 employees. This is fanaticism. I have never committed a crime, and you can continue to concoct crimes for me. I have never committed a crime. I go to the now defunct PW Fitness. I'm in the back of the gym. Up walks to me gym psychopath Jermaine Benman. He stands over me. As I lean up, he punches down. My head snaps back violently. He walks away. A witness calls the Monroe County Sheriff Office. Go outside. Andrew Reale, your $79,000 criminal corrupt hack. Tells me to wait in the backseat of his vehicle. I do. He's in front of the vehicle talking to Jermaine Benman because he's telling Jermaine Benman what to say. He walks Jermaine Benman around the side of the vehicle. Jermaine Benman says to me, I want to press charges against you. With those 7 words, I'm charged with harassment second. Who am I harassing, Todd Baxter? What would you think if Kevin Baxter, Zachary Baxter, was charged with harassment second, sitting in the back seat of a police vehicle? Who am I harassing, Todd Baxter? Who am I harassing? You bald-headed, party-switching, corrupt criminal hack. That's Andrew Meowley's handwriting. Harassment second. How did he even come up with second? How does he decide on second? Who am I harassing, Todd Baxter? I walk outside one day because you're concocting another crime for me. Use the civilian to get to my residence. I lived here with my girlfriend in 2012. Beautiful Laura, who I've known for 30 years. Because Laura's hired at the Penfield Public Library. There's no grass cutting along this land. How does anybody own that land? You concocted a crime for me. Just like you concocted harassment second. Well, I'm not harassing anyone. Your employees, Shannon Meyer, and the 5 other employees, because 6 of you were here. 6 of you were here for me. So instead of your 6 employees pursuing real criminals in Monroe County and we're actively working on real cases, open cases, or going to court, or working with a district attorney on real crime, Sandra Doorley, Shannon Meyer met with an employee, Steve Desmond, of Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care, and they're plotting how to get me to come out of the house. Plotting is the word. You don't have to be conspiracy theorists to use the word plotting. Because that's what they did. Your employee, Shannon Meyer, went with Steve Desmond because Desmond's the one that called your employee. So you used a civilian to get to my house. So it's Shannon Meyer, your $67,000 a year corrupt hack. Meeting with Steve Desmond of Broccolo Tree and Lawn Care and the guy in his tractor. She's not cutting grass that day. Because I've said to him repeatedly, nobody owns this land. So you're going to concoct criminal contempt from me. The guy comes along, the land here, I'm sitting right here, I look outside, I go outside, I stand in Sandra's farm drive, I tell the guy in his tractor, nobody owns the land, I walk back in my house. How is that a crime, you bald-headed, party-switching criminal? How is that a crime? How is that a crime, you bald-headed, party-switching criminal? You can't answer that question. That's why you're concocting new charges for me. Attempted assault, petty larceny, trespassing, lie, from a lying sheriff. How is this a crime to go outside, say nobody owns that land, and walk in my house? You won't answer me. You refuse to answer me. I'm working 18 months to get to the point I am now where I'm going to contact the United States Department of Justice. You will have to answer. I'm confident that you will be contacted by the United States Department of Justice about what you have done to me. I'm 55 years old. I've always known the difference between legal and illegal. And it is not illegal to walk outside here and say nobody owns that land and walk back in my house. That's not a crime. How is that possibly a crime? You disgusting, vile, fucking degenerate. That's the land right here. How does anybody own that land? Timothy Murphy at the Monroe County Office of Real Property can't confirm that Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah at 2041 Penfield Road own this land. So, the individual at the Monroe County Office of Real Property can't confirm it. You can look at it, which I just showed you, and see that nobody owns that land. This is what they sent me, these parasites. Oh, can I mention their names to the district attorney's office? Can I say the names Layla Kumar and Neeraj Shah? This is what they sent me. This is what they sent me. This is fiction. I've showed this multiple times. And the fact that this is fiction is totally irrelevant to you at the district attorney's office. You, Sandra Doorley, at 47 South Fitzhugh Street in Rochester, do not know what constitutes a crime. Just like your enforcer, bald-headed, party-switching hack, Todd Baxter. I'm showing you this because this is fiction. Nobody owns this land. Do you own a dog, Sheriff Baxter and District Attorney Doorley? Do you each own dogs? I'll guess, because tens of millions of people own dogs. Dogs really bring joy to your life. We had a golden retriever in my family for 12 years. I grew up in a small village called Lake Grove. And If you own a dog, then your dog is a family member. Because your dog gives you the same love that you give your dog. So I could talk for 2 hours about how much I love my dogs, just like millions of people. Nothing special. So when I lived in Webster with my ex-girlfriend Laura, I'm not telling you my dog story. Sheriff Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Doorley. I'm telling you what happened to me. Sheriff Baxter, when two of your repulsive fanatics, degenerates, sociopaths showed up to my residence to demand my dog, when all I'm doing is walking him the same way every day for 7 years and 4,000 times. 4,000 times. I walk my dog on this land behind my residence at 26 Sanders Farm Drive that has no ownership. Am I a 4,000 time criminal? My 4,000 time criminal, Sheriff Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Doorley? My trespassing 4,000 times, walked through a parking lot? District Attorney Sandra Doorley? Sheriff Todd Baxter? My ex-girlfriend, beautiful Laura, who I've known for 30 years. If anybody knows I've never harassed anybody, never committed a crime, it's Laura Riley. So, we lived in Webster, and we were going to move to Penfield because Laura's hired at Penfield Public Library. And I don't know that the Star Chamber of Penfield Town Court is at the end of the hall from Penfield, the entrance of Penfield Public Library, even though Laura is about to be hired there and work there. And when I would go see her, I don't know Penfield Town Court with John P. Lomenzo Jr. and James Mully, and now this bald-headed, wig-wearing hack, Paula Metzler, is there. I do not know that little room is at the end of the hallway from the library entrance, even though Laura Riley works at the Penfield Public Library. So, I'm going to tell you about my dog, Sheriff Baxter, because you injected yourself into my life. And all I'm doing is walking my dog the same way every year for 7 years and 4,000 times. So Laura and I decided we were going to go to Lion Pop, and we went there. And we were interviewed because you're not approved to adopt a dog unless you demonstrate the character to adopt a dog. This dog has to be loved, not just cared for. Dog has to be loved. Every dog deserves to be loved. So Laura and I approved and went to the cages, and we kicked him out. And I remember saying to her, I don't want to get a barking dog. And there's barking everywhere. She said, you sure you don't want to get a barking dog? And I said, I changed my mind. So we're walking by a cage, and we looked down, and there was a Shih Tzu. And Laura said to me, he's looking right at you. So we adopted him that day and brought him home. His name is Alex. And when I worked as a United States Senate staffer on Capitol Hill, as I've said in previous YouTubes, I don't know who watches these because they're not for you at the District Attorney's Office, Sheriff's Office, they're for the Department of Justice. So, as this is going to be going to the Department of Justice transcript, I'm going to tell you again. His name was Alex. And when I worked on Capitol Hill's United States Senate staffer, I worked with Alex Heck. No dog of mine is going to be named after Alex Heck, the attorney who will give you a 500-word answer when all you need is just a sentence to tell you what the answer is supposed to be. So I changed his name from Alex to Boom Boom. And you boxing fans there at the District Attorney's Office and Sheriff's Office should recognize the name Ray Mancini, the former WBA lightweight champion in the world with a heart as strong as any champion. He knocked out Arturo Frias in the second round. And he almost went the distance with the great Alexis Arguello. Almost made it. A heart of a champion. Ray Mancini, otherwise known as Boom Boom. So, I named my little guy Boom Boom after Ray Mancini because he's a champion. And there you are. I walk my dog on this land that has no ownership. The back window from this repulsive shack, the Shaw law firm, flies open. This woman is screaming at me out the window. 4,000 plus times. I come back in. I put my little guy in his dog bed that my mom and dad bought for me. I walk through the parking lot that I'm the only one that will be arrested in New York State for walking through. I go into the Shaw law firm. to talk to Layla Kumar, Neeraj Shah. This woman is losing her mind, screaming out the window from them. They refused to talk to me, all three of them. I leave immediately. I come back here, and approximately 60 minutes later, there's a pounding on my door. Your employees, Todd Baxter, don't knock or ring a doorbell. I'd like to know if they're instructed when they go to a residence to cut loose at the front door of the residence by pounding on the door and ringing on the doorbell repeatedly, because that's what they're doing at my front door. And you've been here now 100 plus times, and that's what you do. You do not knock or ring the doorbell. That may seem like a little thing. It's not. You're pounding on somebody's door and ringing the doorbell. That's not a daily occurrence. Something's going on right outside your residence, and there you are pounding on my door like these two animals, and you're an animal too, Todd Baxter. You're a fucking animal. I go to the door and I open it, and there are your two animals with the animal control employee. 3 of them in there. All I'm doing is walking my dog the same way for 7 years and 4,000 times. I look at the 2 to the left, and to the right, to my right, is the animal control employee, and he has a pole. On top of the pole is a small noose. Where is that noose going to go for my Shih Tzu that I just showed you? This is not a large dog that is 70, 80, 90, 100 pounds. He weighs less than 15 pounds because I love to pick him up. And when I would be away for an extended period, if I would be away for 9, 10 hours, 12 hours, and somebody would come in and have to feed him and watch him, my neighbor, I would pick him up because I missed him. So I'd pick him up all the time, tell him I missed him, which is what dog owners do. Millions of dog owners do that. If you have a small dog, you can pick up a dog. I used to have a golden retriever, couldn't pick her up. Do you know that people love their dogs, Todd Baxter? Do your employees know that people love their dogs? What is wrong with you, Sheriff Todd Baxter? What is wrong with your employees? Why can't your employees behave with civility and decency? Why don't you just call me? They called you to the sheriff's office. You're on your way to my house. Nobody calls me. Why? I'll tell you why. It's why I use phrases like fanatic, degenerate, and sociopath. I believe in the precision of language. I believe in the precise use of language. And when I'm labeling you and describing you accurately as a fanatic, a degenerate, and sociopath, I have 500 plus reasons and perhaps 1,000 plus reasons to label you as such. A fanatic, a degenerate, and a sociopath. Because a fanatic, degenerate, and sociopath sheriff sends his 2 fanatics, degenerates, and sociopaths in a home of an innocent man to demand his dog, when all that innocent man is doing is walking his dog the same way for 7 years and 4,000 times. How do you possibly come to my house to demand my dog like that? This is vicious confrontation. That's the word I use. Or I say to your 2 employees, Todd Baxter, you'll have to kill me to take my little guy from me. That's the way dog owners are. There is not a single dog owner that will surrender a dog to the police because the police demand it. Do you not understand this fact of life? How do you not understand this? So, I'm demanding public information on this December 17th from you, Todd Baxter and Sandra Doorley. You're going to refuse to comply with whatever you want. YouTube is a valid means of communication. I know you see me on YouTube because you come here after I'm on YouTube. That's why you're concocting new crimes for me, because I'm on YouTube. I'm going to send you a transcript to this and every other YouTube. And it's going to be over 50,000 words, perhaps over 75,000 words what I'm doing. Because I'm not talking to you, even though I use your names. I'm talking to the United States Department of Justice and the Office of Governor Andrew Cuomo. And you both need a moral act commission imposed upon you for how a prosecutor doesn't talk in court and I'm delivered to jail. For how I never committed a crime and I'm delivered to jail. What's the name of this prosecutor who didn't talk twice in Penfield Town Court, Sandra Doorley? Why don't you just click reply and send me the name, send me the documentations to my address at 26 Sanders Farm Drive? When your employees abridge the civil and constitutional rights of innocent New Yorkers, innocent Americans, innocent citizens, how do you discipline them at the district attorney's office and sheriff's office? What is your disciplinary process? When I was in the 2nd Squadron of the 17th Cavalry, the 101st Airborne Division, Arizona, Fort Campbell, Kentucky, I worked in what's called S1 as a 75 Bravo. And one of my responsibilities as a 75 Bravo personnel administration specialist is to do the paperwork for an Article 15, which is a non-judicial punishment, and also to sit in the courts martial when that proceeding descended on a soldier accused of breaking the code in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. And when I would sit in the courts martial, it would be, this is 30 years ago, and it still is the most brutal destruction of a human being I've ever seen in my life in the 4 that I was in. Because they bust you down to rank right away. They take away your money. When that happens, you lose your pay. And the soldier is provided a hearing. It's not some fascist process. You should know a fascist process, Sandra and Todd, because you're both fascists. That's not an exaggeration. So, I've seen how an Article 15 happens in the military. I've seen how courts martial happens. I've seen how this works. I've seen the disciplinary process when I was a soldier in the 2nd Squadron, 17th Cavalry, 101st Airborne Division. So, the district attorney of 1984 and the sheriff of 1984, how do you discipline your public employees? And what's the disciplinary process? Freedom of information law. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. Freedom of information law. The internal disciplinary records or documentation of employees, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd K. Baxter. That Sheriff Todd K. Baxter is disciplined or reprimanded or terminated from employment of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Freedom of information law. The internal disciplinary records or documentation for employees of the Monroe County District Attorney's Office or District Attorney Sandra Doorley. That District Attorney Sandra Doorley has disciplined, reprimanded, and terminated from employment at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. When was the last time someone was fired at the Sheriff's Office or the District Attorney's Office? When was the last time that happened? Does it happen at the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office? Are your employees behaving with the highest ethical standards at the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office? The answer is no. Because I'm the evidence. I'm the evidence for how your employees, Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter, bridge the civil and constitutional rights of innocent Americans. How do you discipline your public employees at the District Attorney's Office, the Sheriff's Office? Perry Duckles, how is that done? Michael Radler, how's that done? Are you spending your paycheck? How'd you spend your paycheck last week, Michael Radler? You make $0 to Monroe County Sheriff's Office, isn't that right? Why? Are you paid any sum of money to work in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Are you in the office or are you in a vehicle? I'm going to guess. When I guess, I say it's a guess. I'm going to guess that you're just this pathetic desk jockey. That you're a gopher. You are Michael Radler, the gopher. You worked your 20 years as a cop, and that's all you are, is a pathetic cop. There are 40,000 cops in the United States of America. Congratulations on your career choice. All you are is a pathetic cop. What do you do for $0, Michael Radler? Are you the gopher for Sheriff Baxter? Do you know what a gopher is? A gopher is someone that retrieves whatever the boss wants. The boss wants a cup of coffee. You, Michael Radler, the gopher, is going to go get it. Do you understand how that works, being a gopher? Are you the official gopher? Sheriff Todd Baxter, bald-headed, party-switching fraud, $0 Michael Radler? Speaking of dollars, it's all about money, isn't it? Sheriff's Office, District Attorney's Office, I'm sure you've heard people say that life is all about money. That's only partially true. Money makes the world go around. How do you pay your public employees? The sheriff of 1984 and the district attorney of 1984, and you will refuse. Freedom of information law. Range of salaries of every public employee tomorrow. County Sheriff's Office, Sheriff Todd Baxter. Freedom of information law. The name of the salary is a very public employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, District Attorney Sandra Doorley. What do you, Sandra Doorley, pay your snakes in suits? Have you hired anybody new? $129,000 a year, Perry Duckles. Have you hired a new snake in a suit, Perry? I have the old payroll that Leland wrote. This hack who's not on the payroll took when the search warrant was executed to come into my residence looking for a hammer. What happened to me when this Leland wrote, empowered by bald-headed, wig-wearing Paula Metz from Pennsylvania Town Court, to use a search warrant to come into my house looking for a hammer. I'm not exaggerating it. That's what they were looking for. And they exited with my Chromebook that I still have not gotten back yet. What's happened to me should never happen to an innocent citizen ever in the United States of America. Since you, Sandra, and you, Todd, cannot make a distinction between guilt and innocence, you are perfectly comfortable with this nauseating, disgusting abridgment of my civil and constitutional rights. I was a public employee in Albany for Senate Majority Ralph Moreno and Governor George Pataki. I was a public employee in Washington, D.C. for Senator Olympia Snowe and Congressman Lawrence Smith. There was no overtime. You worked a 40-hour week, that was it. If you worked a 60-hour week, doesn't matter. You worked that extra 20 hours. Your salary was salary. Public employees throughout the United States of America abuse overtime because they will intentionally work a 50th hour, 60th hour, even 70th hour, even double what constitutes a normal work week to 80 hours because they want that money. Because they're motivated by greed. Greed is the corrosion of the heart. And it's been around for 2,000 years. So, how do you pay public employees when the 41st hour is work, Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter? How do you do that? You refuse to answer, but when I contact the state controller, because I'm going to urge state controller to audit the Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Todd Baxter and the Monroe County Attorney's Office of Sandra Doorley. I'm confident that if you are audited at the Sheriff's Office and District Attorney's Office, unethical practices will be discovered. I'm confident you're doing unethical things. You won't even tell me the name of the prosecutor. I'm going to get to that for a while. If you won't even tell me the name of your assistant district attorney who doesn't talk in Penfield Town Court, then you need to be audited, Sandra Doorley. If you refuse to send me your payroll, Todd Baxter, the latest one, so I can compare it to the one that wasn't taken out of my house by Leah LaRoque, you need to be audited. So, how do you pay your public employees, Todd Baxter and Sandra Doorley? You got a guy driving around in his vehicle Monday through Friday, 40 hours a week, and he thinks, I'm going to drive around for another 10 hours. Because I see them driving around all the time. They just went by here. I saw 4 of them go by here in the hour I was outside today. Up and down Penfield Road all day long, driving up and down. I didn't see them over at Wegmans. Because here they are right here at Wegmans. There's one of you whack jobs driving right by me at Wegmans. I see them all the time. I see your cancerous employees, bald-headed, party-switching Todd Baxter, all over Monroe County. So I'd like to know if one way to abuse overtime is to drive around an extra 10 hours a week. How do you do that at the sheriff's office? And you're thinking, who the hell are you to be asking us this, Chris Chichester? And we're concocting new crimes for you because you've been on YouTube. Freedom of information law, party-switching Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter. Cost of overtime, time and a half, hour paid beyond base hours calculated at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Todd K. Baxter. Freedom of information law. Total cost of overtime, time and a half, hour paid beyond base hours calculated at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office. Sandra Doorley. District Attorney Sandra Doorley and Sheriff Todd Baxter has one of your public employees come to you and informed you that one of your employees is sexually harassing another employee. That's a general term. What is sexual harassment? Do you know what sexual harassment is, Sandra Doorley and Todd Baxter? Can you provide a definition? It's not easily defined. It can't be defined in 1, 2, 3, even 4 sentences. It's difficult. I hesitate because it can be 500 things, 1,000 things, 2,000 things. It manifests itself in 1,000+ ways. That's the descent on the soul. That's what sexual harassment is. It's the descent on the soul. You just want to be left alone. That's an all human emotion. Just leave me alone. And the reason why I'm on YouTube, Todd Baxter, Sandra, Doorley, is you won't leave me alone. So, it's almost a man committing this abhorrent act upon a woman. She wants to be left alone. She has told the man, leave me alone. I don't want to go out with you. I don't want to have a drink with you. Stop touching me. So, it's a man asking a woman out on a date over and over and over. And she's under siege with no. It's a man placing his hands on a woman repeatedly in the office, and she's being touched repeatedly in the office. That's harassment. Is that going on at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office of Sheriff Todd Baxter? On the Monroe County District Attorney's Office, Sandra Doorley, and Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Todd Baxter. What's the answer, Michael Radler? Michael Radler, Perry Duckles of the District Attorney's Office. Oftentimes in bureaucracy, if I've worked in one, the elected official doesn't know what's going on, and the employees, especially the number 2 or senior employee, knows exactly what's going on. Perry Duckles says, are you aware of sexual harassment? As you understand the term, you have your own definition. Perhaps you disagree with how I define it here and on other YouTube. So, Perry, a man asking a woman out on a date over and over, she's under siege with no. A woman being touched physically at the office. A woman receiving emails that are profane repeatedly. Is this going on, Perry Duckles? Michael Radler, the $0 employee at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter. Is sexual harassment going on, as you understand the term, at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Kathleen Miller, the $34,000 a year public employee. As you understand the term sexual harassment, are you aware that it's happening at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Because female employees talk to each other. A female employee will have a conversation with another female employee that she won't with a male employee. It's human nature. It's the way the world works. Because a female employee that's being sexually harassed will be more comfortable talking to another female. Because possibly the other females had the same experience. So Kathleen Miller, have you been sexually harassed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? Do you know of a female coworker that has been sexually harassed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office? What's the answer? Have you, Kathleen Miller, been told either directly from a person or heard, and you can hear things that are legitimate, that another female is being sexually harassed? What's it like to work there at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Kathleen Miller? Because you're employees at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Kathleen Miller, behave like animals. And when you behave like animals, you're sexually harassing human beings. Are you being sexually harassed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Kathleen Miller? Are you aware of other female employees being sexually harassed at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office by male employees? Cost of taxpayers of Monroe County District Attorney Sandra Doorley spending taxpayer dollars set employment-related discrimination lawsuits fair to apply with Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Amanda Balling, $108,338. Amanda Balling, District Attorney's Office. As you understand the term sexual harassment, is any employee at the Monroe County District Attorney's Office subject to sexual harassment? What's the answer, Amanda Balling? What would you do, Amanda Balling, if you heard that someone was being sexually harassed? Is the answer nothing? Would you do nothing, Amanda Balling? What's a surveillance device, Todd Baxter? Because you bought one from me, and you'll lie about it. You'll continue to lie about it, even though I've now seen the images. You'll continue to lie about it because you'll refuse to comply with this Freedom of Information Law. The cost of a surveillance device purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter affixed to a building at 2025 Benford Road to monitor Christopher Chichester, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building. I'm the only American in all 50 states that'll be arrested for walking through their parking lot because these parasites in the garage are the Kumar shot. This is what you're doing to me, Todd Baxter. How do you explain that to the United States Department of Justice? That I'm the only American to be arrested for walking through that parking lot? And how you concocted a crime for me? using a civilian Steve Desmond to get to my residence, meeting with the employees of Brock Tree and Lawn Care. You are a sick, vile, repulsive human being, what you've done to me. And you don't know that you're a sick, vile, repulsive human being. Put that camera on that building. It's not the high-resolution photo. It's probably dark. You won't be able to see it, but that's it. I have the high-resolution photo. And you employees of the sheriff's office and district attorneys, you can walk through that parking lot. When you walk through that parking lot, you can look up 2025 Penfield Road. Isn't that right, Elliot Roth? Because you said to me, you're going to be arrested. And the reason why you say that to me, Elliot, is you know that they were there and they put this on the building. I don't think you can see it, but all you have to do is walk through the parking lot that you can walk through without being arrested. Look up and you'll see it. Isn't that right, Elliot Roth? Elliot, why did you say to me you're going to be arrested with that idiot smile on your face? Where's your humanity, Elliot? Chuck Todd Baxter, we're about the same age. Do you remember the 1972 Olympics with the great Mark Spitz? Because he won 7 gold medals. Right at the height of the Cold War. It's a brilliant performance by him. And I remember seeing the poster of him where he's wearing his 7 gold medals. And it's a glorious poster of an Olympic champion and one of the most famous and accomplished Olympic champions in history. Mark Spitz is a swimmer. You, Todd, have swimmers at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Is that right, Todd, baby? Freedom of Information Law. My name is Christopher Chichester. I have never committed a crime. The cost of taxpayers' photography session approved by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter photographed 10 public employees underwater in a pool. It's on your Facebook page. It's your 10 employees. Right here. The American flag in the background. Who decided to put the American flag in the background? Are you having a Medal of Honor ceremony under here with your employees? Sheriff Todd Baxter, the sheriff of 1984. Did you expend taxpayer dollars to take this photograph? The day of this photograph, these employees were in contact with each other. They had to be. By email, by phone, meeting at the office. Email, phone, meeting at the office. We're going to be at the pool today. What time are we at the pool today for the picture? This is what they're talking about this day. Was this during the work day? Was it on a weekend? Was this on the private time, the off-duty hours of your employees? Was this taken during normal working hours, Monday to Friday, 9 to 5? They were in contact with each other. Your employees was on your Facebook page. Did you expend taxpayer dollars to take this photograph, the sheriff of 1984, Todd Baxter? What's the answer to that question? You refuse to answer because I'm just a citizen demanding information. I'm just a voter demanding information. Who the hell would ever vote for you, Todd Baxter? Please run for re-election. I'm going to come to your events relentlessly. This is one of the things I'm going to hold up. I'm going to say to your events, I hope you're in a room with 1,000 people and there's a microphone. So I'm going to go to the microphone. I'm going to hold up this picture and say, I was demanding your entire time in office for you to explain if you expended taxpayer dollars to take a picture of your 10 public employees underwater and pool and refused. So don't refuse now. Did you expend taxpayer dollars? I'm told it's a training exercise. I'm not asking if it's a training exercise. I don't give a fuck if it's a training exercise, you bald-headed criminal. I'm demanding to know if taxpayer dollars were expended. And if it is a training exercise, in all likelihood, that's the case. Did you expend taxpayer dollars to take this photograph of your 10 public employees underwater in a pool, the sheriff of 1984? When I was in the 101st Airborne Division, and I will cite it because I was a young man and it is a defining period in my life. And like millions of people, if you have a defining period in your life, then it defines who you are 30 years later. So at Fort Campbell, and you veterans that have been in the 101st, and you know what I'm going to say, 41A goes in front of the 101st. And that connects Hopkinsville, Kentucky with Clarksville, Tennessee. As I'm from Suffolk County in Long Island, I was born in Queens. I spent my whole life in New York. When I'm there at 19 years old, it's an alien state. And what I would see in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and Clarksville, Tennessee, NL 41A, driving down it, is a Confederate flag. and I would look at it in total confusion, even though I knew that the stars and bars is a symbol of the South. I didn't fully understand at that young age what it represents, and what it represents is racism and segregation. It is the official symbol of racism and segregation. It's the official symbol of being a redneck. Why did you send Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia, Sheriff Todd Baxter with his canine dog Lola for the Super Bowl on February 3rd, 2019? What is Monroe County Sheriff Office employee Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia? You refuse to answer. Did you expend taxpayer dollars to send Ryan Fisher to Atlanta, Georgia? Freedom of Information Law. The cost for a hotel and plane ticket for Monroe County Sheriff employee Ryan Fisher to attend the Super Bowl in Atlanta, Georgia on February 3rd, 2019 with his canine dog Lola. I'm going to try not to laugh. I'm not going to ridicule this. Sometimes I'll ridicule and sometimes I won't. And you're refusing to answer. I've been on here 50 times with this. Here he is. This is your employee, Ryan Fisher, out of Rochester, New York, out of Monroe County, New York, out of the Empire State, 2,000 plus miles away in Atlanta, Georgia. That's your employee, Ryan Fisher. What is Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia, Todd Baxter? Why was he there? To provide security to Super Bowl? Then say no. Did he come to you? Did Ryan Fisher come to you and say, I want to go to Atlanta, Georgia? Such a joke, a disgrace. And you're tweeting about it. It's not, he goes on this junket. A junket enrages taxpayers, party switching, bald-headed fraud Todd Baxter. You're telling people about it. Did you write this tweet, Kathleen Miller? Did you write this tweet? $0 Michael Radler? Did you write this tweet, William Tadeo? Did you write this tweet, Scott Alberti? As we get ready to watch the Super Bowl, we're grateful to the men and women assigned to keep fans and players safe in Atlanta, including MCSO's own Deputy Ryan Fisher, Canine Lola. Deputy Fisher sent this photo from Atlanta, and thank you both for your service. When I say you're the sheriff of 1984, this is evidence of it. Service? Do you understand the language in this? Employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Todd Baxter. Corey Brown, the deputy sheriff, who makes $1,000 less than Sheriff Todd Baxter at $131,000. Where's the service? Who approved this trip for Ryan Fisher? Plane ticket and hotel. You spent taxpayer dollars. If he's there in uniform, then you expended taxpayer dollars. He's not there as a private citizen. He's there with his dog. The hotel, the plane ticket. Someone has to care for his dog. Some hotels don't like take an animal in there. Where did his dog stay? If his dog is not with him in the hotel room, then he has to have boarding for the dog, for his German Shepherd. Did you spend taxpayer dollars for a plane ticket? Did you spend taxpayer dollars for a hotel room? Did you spend taxpayer dollars for the dog? The care and feeding of his dog? What's Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia with his nauseating, disgusting history of racism and segregation, bald-headed party switching fraud, Todd Baxter? Have you seen the flag of New York? Have you seen the flag of New York? This is it right here. These scales represent justice. Justice is wearing a blindfold. E pluribus unum here, out of many one. That's a Phrygian cap right there on that pole. That signifies freedom. Got a rising sun over the Hudson River. Got the ships signifying entry into the New World. This is a beautiful flag in every way. Nice to see this in the Capitol. I love this flag. Just like New Yorkers who understand the significance of it. This is the current flag of Georgia. Right here. That's the current flag of Georgia. But only until 2003 because they had to change it. The official symbol of being a redneck. Right here. Until 2003. If you were to fly to Georgia today, get off the plane in Atlanta, how long would it take to see this? I don't know. If I don't know, I say I don't know. But I believe that it would be seen within 48 hours. I guess. What's Ryan Fisher doing in Atlanta, Georgia, Todd Baxter? You refuse to answer. You Chef Todd Baxter are overweight. Tell your employees. I'll guess 75% of your employees are overweight. What do you do to keep your employees in shape? Do you understand that violent criminals can overpower the police? Do you understand that violent criminals are large men? Because in jail, in prison, especially in prison, they lift weights. And so if they're doing a 3-year stretch, they're going to be lifting weights. They're going to be even stronger when they get out. I've seen monster criminals on television, real criminals that have committed terrible crimes. Your employees have to be in shape. And you have employee after employee after employee that's overweight. What happens if your employee is going to be overpowered by one of these monster criminals? What are the physical training standards or requirements at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office of Todd Baxter? The answer is you don't have physical training standards. In the Army, there's the PT test, push-ups, sit-ups, 2-mile run, 300 points is perfect. You're flagged if you don't do the PT test with a certain amount of points, which means you can't do anything. You're effectively not in the military. All you do is show up to work and that's it. Can't do anything. Can't get an award, can't get promoted, can't travel, can't do anything. Can't be recognized by your peers. Michael Radler, on the payroll of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Right here, he makes $0. Why? What do you do with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office for $0? Day and year, Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter rehired Michael Radler after his 20-year career with the Monroe County Sheriff's Office ended. 20-year career, then you're rehired. Why? Why were you rehired at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, Michael Radler? $0, Michael Radler. So Michael Radler, at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, a bald-headed, party-switching, criminal corrupt Todd Baxter, you, Michael Radler, do not make $20. You, Michael Radler, do not make $5. You, Michael Radler, don't make $1. You, Michael Radler, don't make 25 cents. You, Michael Radler, don't make 5 cents. You, Michael Radler, don't make 10 cents. You, Michael Radler, don't make 1 penny at the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. What the hell do you do as a $0 employee? Can you answer that question? If you sat down with Michael Caine, the editor of Democrat and Chronicle, could you explain what you do? Could Sheriff Todd Baxter? Who's at your jail, Todd Baxter? Public facility. Today in charge of every inmate of Monroe County Jail from January 1, 2018 to December 17, 2020. Who's there? Segregate and separate your inmates, the nonviolent from the violent, and go to your jail. Take someone you trust. You have to trust people in your position, even though no one should be trusted of your 170 employees, but you have to trust someone. So pick someone and walk in there unannounced. Don't tell anybody you're coming. Just go up to someone at your office, in your office, say, we're going to the jail, and walk in there. And then ask the man to see how they conduct business at the jail and separate the violent inmates from the nonviolent for their own safety. Because there's an innocent man deposited in your jail. I've seen the violent inmates around the nonviolent inmates. I would be eating next to violent inmates talking about their violent crimes. Why do you have to be told this? Why do you not know this? If you know it and refuse to separate and segregate nonviolent from violent, then that's yet another indictment of your disgusting existence in Monroe County. Do what I told you to do. Does the prosecutor talk in court, Sandra Doorley? Have you been in court? The answer is yes. Worked your way up to the district attorney's office. How's an innocent man, an innocent American, innocent citizen delivered to jail without a prosecutor talking twice? Does it matter to you, Sandra Doorley? Re-elect Sandra Doorley? Does it matter to you, re-elect Sandra Doorley? I was riding my bike down Penfield Road on a sidewalk like I do every day. I saw your re-election sign. So I had my backpack. I stopped, took my phone, I took a picture of re-elect Sandra Doorley. I'm standing in front of your lawn sign, and I had to prevent myself from being physically sick because of the nauseousness that started on my stomach when I took out the phone to take your picture. Freedom of Information Law. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penfield Town Court. What's the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? I go to the podium, look at her like this to my left, not one word. How am I delivered to jail? Innocent man, the prosecutor doesn't talk. The first time. Documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester before Paula Messel in Penfield Town Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Doorley? This 5'2" three-piece suit boy leaves his podium, walks over to Paula Metzler, gives her a paper, and walks back to where he was standing. That delivers me to jail. He didn't talk either. Where's your morality? Where's your ethics? The sheriff's office, the district attorney's office. At 51 minutes in this YouTube, and I don't know how much longer it's going to go, you're going to refuse to comply with every one. Every single one you're going to refuse to comply with. $61.39. Does it matter to you, Todd Baxter, that your employee attacked and assaulted me and I have this check? Does it matter to you that I'm demanding the name of your employee that lowered his shoulder, drove his shoulder into the small of my back, knocked me over at Wegmans? Does it matter to you that your employee committed this violent assault attack upon me? The answer is no. Your employees have had their hands on me and attacked me repeatedly because they're animals, like I've said to you repeatedly. That's the word I use to describe you and your employee. You're animals. It's not exaggeration. Describe you as animals. Does it matter to you at all that I'm holding this check in my hand from you? County Model Office of the Sheriff Inmate Fund Account. The answer is no. And when I was attacked and assaulted, I'm being billed. Special ambulance billing. Special ambulance billing. I didn't open it because I'm not paying that. I'm going to send this to you, Sheriff Todd Baxter. That's why I'm holding it up. I'm going to send these bills to you. I will go over them and make copies because I have to. The reason why I didn't open these, I don't being reminded of your employee attacking and assaulted me in the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans with 11 witnesses, and you refused to tell me his name. 11 witnesses, you're going to refuse to tell me his name. It's not every day that an innocent citizen is attacked and assaulted by 11 of your employees because they had to say, look what he just did to that guy. I had to get an MRI. At Rochester General, I had to get an MRI. I was in the MRI tube. Your employee delivered me to the MRI tube. What's his name, Todd Baxter? What's the name of your criminal employee? Tell me his name. It's an email I sent to you on June 13, 2020. Prosecutor, the district attorney's office, student, Sussy, Star Chair in Penfield Town Court, and did not talk. How am I delivered to Monroe County Jail and the prosecutor doesn't talk? Two people decided. How do two people decide an innocent American is delivered to jail? Why isn't there an impaneled jury in Penfield Town Court? 12 Americans sent me home. Your district attorney's office had to create a special conviction integrity unit because you're putting the screws to innocent Americans. That's right, conviction integrity unit. What does this thing do? Is that just public relations? Perry Duckles. Is that just public relations? So, pregnant inmate back in custody after escape at Strong Memorial Hospital. What'd you do with this? Here they are right here. Here's a Leah Burden. You're such a buffoon, a stooge, and incompetent. You can't even prevent a Leah Burden from escaping. How do you allow a pregnant inmate to escape? How does that happen? How does that happen, Todd Baxter? I've never heard Miranda versus Arizona. Does that matter to you, Perry Duckles? That I've never heard Miranda versus Arizona? The answer is no. Democrat and Chronicle. When I use a word like perversion, I think about why I'm going to use that word. And perversion accurately describes you, Todd Baxter. I'd like to know what Kevin Baxter and Zachary Baxter thought when they read this story. I had to read it. It's in the Democrat and Chronicle. It says your quote right there. Monroe County Sheriff Todd Baxter, I have a passion for jails. How do you say you have a passion for jails? Because what you're confessing is you love suffering. Do you believe, Todd Baxter, that innocent human beings are in jail that have never committed a crime? I'm asking you, do you believe innocent Americans are in jail that have never committed a crime? Do you believe innocent Americans are in Monroe County Jail that have never committed a crime? What's your answer to that question? Because I believe, I'll guess, you think that everybody in Monroe County Jail is guilty. There's no such thing as an innocent citizen. And you believe that everyone arrested by your 170 employees is guilty of a crime. Because you live in a delusional 1984. Is every single human being arrested by an employee of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office guilty of a crime? How would you answer that question? Answer that question. I have a passion for jails. How do you possibly say this? How do you exist with morality and decency and ethics when your quote is saying, I have a passion for jails? Because you think that this is how you win support in Monroe County. I've never heard an elected official say, I have a passion for jails, or use language that meets what you're trying to communicate, the standard for what you're trying to communicate. Ever. In 7 years I worked in Albany, 5 years I worked on Capitol Hill, my boss, Congressman Mark Smith, was chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. And there would be police officers that would testify during a full committee hearing and subcommittee hearing. And I've been around police officers, state troopers too, when I worked in the Capitol for the governor and majority leader. I spent an enormous amount of time, and that's the right word, enormous, around police officers and law enforcement in Washington and Albany, D.C., and I had conversations with them. I've never heard anybody ever talk about a passion for jails or communicate anything like that, ever. You're the only one, because you're a sick human being. So, on June 26, 2020, I sent this to you. You got it. Attached 12 Freedom of Information Law documents. Each is dated June 26. The language is identical to language mailed via registered mail return receipt on June 24th and June 22nd. And I'm demanding everything I just demanded in every FOIL demanded here. On June 26th, 24th, 22nd, you refused every time. Because the law is a joke to you. The law is a joke to you because you Jonestown Kool-Aid drinkers. That's what you are at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's offices. This is at 58 minutes. This is the official beverage of fanaticism, and you're fanatics. The sheriff's office and district attorney's office. I run a 5K in MCC. After the race, here are your employees at MCC. Why? Why are your employees at MCC? Can't know what everyone's doing. I took out my phone. I took this picture. These are your 4 employees at Monroe County Community College in the gymnasium after a 5,000-meter race. Why? If Michael Caine, the Democrat and Chronicle, or the United States Department of Justice asks you, why are your employees at a gymnasium at Monroe Community College after a 5,000-meter race? How would you answer that question? The sheriff of 1984. What you received is the Freedom of Information Law on September 17th. 48 hours from now, on December 19th, you're going to receive it again. Everything I read to you, I'm going to demand from you again on December 19th. And everything I read to you in the Freedom of Information Law, I'm going to send to you again on December 21st, I'll be demanding additional information. My name is Christopher Chichester. I live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, and I have never committed a crime.